Welcome in, everybody, to this week's Five Aside, the show where we talk about five things aside from the most recent Five Stripes match. My name is Glenn Paisan, and joining me tonight is Lady Liberty.
I am here, a weary lady reporting on behalf of a nation that has suffered a great loss.
In so many ways. Oh my gosh. So typically on this show, we talk about five different things. So tonight we're just going to talk about the five goals that Belgium put past us on the men's side of things. I will say it does track that the men lost so badly during National Women's Month. If the women were out there, this wouldn't be a problem. 4 World Cups, count them 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The men have been to a quarterfinal once.
I think what stung the most about this is that the first half made you so hopeful. Like,
I know.
I really got built up because I want so badly to
X-Files.
believe.
I want to believe.
I want to believe. I was
This
really
team.
channeling the vibes and feeling the
Talk about the
connection.
vibes. The vibes were good in the building. It was a really good turnout. Would you agree?
It was a
60
great
plus thousand.
turnout.
And it seemed like a legit 60,000, not like what gets reported at like recent Atlanta United games where like, guys, it's not 45,000 in the building. Stop. This felt like about 60, and the energy was, I thought, really, really good. I mean, I was excited. Like I said, the first half was good.
I think so. I think it was good energy. I am very curious to see Tuesday. I've got tickets for Portugal. I'm going to go down.
Oh, you do have
interested to
tickets for
see-
Portugal.
I
Okay.
do. I'm one of the suckers that did buy some tickets for Portugal. I'm in the 200s. I've never taken in a mat. Well, I've taken in, I think, 1 or 2 matches from the 200s, but
I've seen a
not
couple
this
from there.
particular section.
Okay.
So
No,
I'm
that'll
looking
be
forward to
a good
that.
time. I will not be there. I have an event, a film event to go to because I'm still involved in film despite being in real estate. At Electric Owl Studios, Producers Guild of America is coming and doing a little event. And it's a good networking opportunity. And ironically, at Electric Owl Studios, which is like a mile from my house, they have this kind of immersive LED setup. Like, you ever seen those like at like Vegas or whatever? It's not like the Sphere, but a wraparound thing.
Okay. Yeah.
So apparently after the event, they're going to have the game on, and I can just be immersed on all sides of pain. Sure. Why not? I just don't know, man. I mean, I'm like you. The first half, I walked away from this match not feeling that bad, which was weird to lose 5-2 and going like, because I'm never the type that will go, yeah, but let's talk about all the positives that came out of it. Like, come on.
But I don't think the game was as bad as
I
the
don't.
scoreline would tell you.
The first half, I was like, the U.S. men's national team? What? Okay, this looks pretty good. But
Well,
as
and
with so many times,
it felt like in the first half we might have actually,
it was
God
good
help
football.
me, been the better. Like, we weren't the better team, but we had the better
I thought we were
chances
better.
in the
I thought we
first
were.
half for
In the run of
sure.
play? I
Yeah.
thought we were. Set piece
And it felt
design,
like it felt
passing.
like we had some connections, right? We felt like we
For
had some
sure.
little groupings.
1-2
You
touches.
definitely were seeing Jedi like finding and
Yes.
connecting into the upper, into the midfield and into the upper third, and
Yep.
that was nice to see.
Yep.
I didn't think the back line looked bad the first half,
Not at
and
all. Not at all. Looked really good.
Belgium
Old
had
man Ream back there doing his thing.
well, and Belgium didn't really have any chances inside the 18. Like, and that's one thing that I will take away here is
Were they a little sleepy
I
in the first
think
half?
maybe also they didn't have Lukaku, and I think that I don't watch a lot of, international football, but from what I understand of having seen him, he would normally be a target for them, right, in this kind of match, and so you saw a lot more activity outside the box, at least I thought, so in terms
They
of
did
their
still have
shots.
KDB out there, who,
Yeah.
ironically enough, I saw because right after the men's team match finished, I had to run next door because Atlanta Hawks had a game. I had to go work that game. So I'm working the game. I'm getting stuff ready, getting the t-shirt guns ready, everything prepped, having a good time. I walk down the hallway. Kevin De Bruyne walks by.
Love it.
I had to do a double take. I'm like, oh, hold up, wait. And then here comes the rest of the entire Belgian squad, staff, everybody, rented a suite, chilling. chilling.
I don't care what I had on me. I would have just brought whatever I had over and been like, "Hey, I'm gonna need some autographs from these guys, man." You
Yeah.
could have gotten the autographs of a team that might win some games this summer at the World Cup,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, it's looking pretty good for Belgium given their draw.
Oh, Belgium was letting everybody know, hey, this might not be the mid early teens, but we are still Belgium. We are still Belgium and we are here. Don't
And
call it a comeback. We've been here for years.
they might still have a little something in the tank there, and it'll
Yep.
be interesting to see how we fare against Portugal though, right? Because then you get to see a little bit of a measuring stick, I think. Though you gotta figure you're gonna rest some guys for this match. You're gonna be playing a different lineup if we have them, or do
I
we
don't
think with the
think
injuries
so.
it's the
I mean, you
same
you
lineup?
need to keep seeing, like Potch said, and I agree with him. What you saw in the first 45 is what you want to see in the full 90 when it comes to the
Alright.
World Cup. And not that much time. I think you got to kind of essentially run it back as
This is
much
it.
as you can. This isn't the time. Like this is it. And Portugal's another top country. I know Ronaldo's not going to be here. Fuck him. Um, every time that dude has had a chance to come to Atlanta, he's like, nah, I don't want to. And this time we put down grass for you, and you still don't
Yeah.
want to come. So I expect to see another, first choice air quotes 11 out there as much as it can be. We still don't have Tyler Adams, and we were talking before we hit the record button here about how essential he is to this team on and off the pitch.
Mhm.
He can't stay healthy, and boy, there's just not much time. It's quad injury for him this time, and I feel for him because I think he's a top player on top of just being like the vibes guy and leadership qualities and all those things. He's
I
actually
was
a
gonna
very
say
good player too.
there's a swagger in this team when you have Tyler Adams on the
Agreed.
field that,
That's
while
not
I
fair.
think Weston McKennie does an impersonation of it sometimes from a very different
Weston does a
angle,
really good job in that department. It's not the
right?
same.
It's the swagger, but it's a different
Yeah.
kinda thing. To me, Tyler Adams is both swagger and a metronome, which is an interesting combination, right?
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
he keeps the flow going and he keeps the tempo up, and he
Yeah.
keeps
Up
that kinda
tempo and keeping the beat, keeping the rhythm. Yeah, I agree.
yeah,
But Weston does do a good job. And I do, for what it's worth, really like Weston's redemption arc that he's been on from where he
yeah,
was back in the COVID times and in the doghouse and on again, off again with Juve. And he finally lands a long term contract with Juventus and having to deal with so many years of the stigma of like, here's the American playing in Serie A and,
yeah,
getting that disrespect. And then he fights his way through, keeps his head down and earns a long term contract and has now become pretty pivotal, especially when Tyler's not there for the
yeah.
men's national team. So I love that. And I think he looked good when he was out there. This was, we say it too many times, it's cliche, but this was the ultimate tale of two halves with this match. I mean, that was not the same product we
No.
saw out there. And granted, there were a lot of subs. I mean, there were full on hockey line changes happening because it's a friendly. You might as well. But shit, I even thought even the full game. I know he got scored on 5 times. I
Mhm.
don't think Matt Turner was terrible. I
No, I
don't.
don't think so either. I think Matt Turner's the reason the scoreline wasn't a lot worse.
Agreed.
He had
Agreed.
several pretty amazing shot
Yeah, the
stops.
ones he
He
got
had
scored on, it's a penalty,
yeah,
and nobody saves that penalty. And I think it was
no.
soft anyhow. And a
No, there
couple
was
of
one
golazos that are just
upper
like
90, like
the fourth goal. Like my God, get out your protractor. How in the world that? How in the world? I forget who it was that for Belgium that was at the top of the box, right at the arc, open. And I'm like, okay, here comes this ball, tap in. And he's like, nah, hang on, I'll just stick this in the top corner. I don't need that. I'm good. Like you can't. It's world class, and I don't put that on Matt at all. I thought his distribution was good. He looked better than what he has looked for the men's national team lately. So it's encouraging. There was encouraging stuff. I know me, the optimist, after getting 5-2, none of it makes sense. This is
I
like
like
seeing
it.
a polar bear in the desert. It's weird. It doesn't track, but I walked out not feeling that upset. I did. I
I
liked a lot of what I saw.
I think that it's kinda similar actually to what we've been harping on with Atlanta United, funny enough. where, but the difference is that I do feel like this team has an identity, and I do believe that they can play to that. I think that's what we saw that first 45.
Yeah, Ponch
And
has settled on a shape and a style of play. I feel like, yeah, I
well,
agree with you.
and I think when I think about, like, identity, I'm not even just talking about on the field. I mean, off the field, this team, right, has
Hmm.
taken control, I think, of its own narrative. They've tried to, you know, even when, like, it's all of us are, geez, like, so down on them and stuff, like, I feel like this team is very
Resilient.
resilient,
Hmm.
you know?
Block out the noise and do the work. They're
And
I
and
will
I
they
think
do
we
all
have
they're
more than
all on the
one
same
guy that's on
page.
a I think we have more than one guy that's on a redemption arc or out there with a chip on their
Sure.
shoulder
Yeah.
with something to prove,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm just hoping that the injuries will work themselves out to where we get to see that best lineup this summer
Yeah.
because it's gonna hurt the vibes if you
Oh,
don't
man.
have, which he's back out there, but if you don't have Diego Luna. To me, he's a vibes guy we gotta have.
We're very
Adam,
dependent on a few key players that can just kind of like I think it's Jennifer who uses the ingredients analogy a lot, but one missing ingredient, one wrong ingredient, and the whole dish kind of gets I mean, it's not trash, it's edible, but it's not tasty. And that's what this men's national team is. If we miss one of those key components and you only get one shot at this World Cup in your country, like everybody's got to be healthy. And I just hope we don't get dealt that blow because you saw what happens in the second half if you don't have everybody that you want. Like we just don't. We're I think we're deeper than we have been in the past
mhm.
as far as like men's national team comparisons from previous years. We don't have the depth of like some of these other countries. We just don't, you know. And yeah, we just got to hope for the best.
I mean, we've
Hmm.
got a tough draw, right? But it's
Oh, it's
definitely
not that
doable,
bad. I
and
think
it's
it's pretty.
doable in the group. We can
Oh, we
totally
should
take
be out of our
Paraguay,
group. The hardest one
Australia.
we've got is Paraguay.
Paraguay is the
No
hardest,
disrespect to
right?
Australia,
And
you
then we've
know.
got a play-in winner or something, right?
Yeah, from
On there.
Turkey and Kosovo. And no
Okay.
disrespect to
Yeah.
either of them, but this is a group that Paraguay and USA should be
Yeah.
advancing out of, and I think we can and should win this group. We're at home. This shouldn't be just squeaking by and getting out of the group. Though, if you're in the World Cup, even with the expansion, you're quality. You've earned the right to be there, and we can't take anything for granted. But I'm sure if you look up Vegas odds, yeah, you got USA coming out of this thing comfortably, and then you got to see. Then you got to see. But we have to get out of the group. That would be as big of
It'd
a
be an
failure,
utter
in my opinion,
embarrassment.
of as not qualifying, not getting grouped in your country. Like
Yeah.
that's catastrophic.
It is the same as not qualifying because you auto qualify as the host, right? So
Correct.
in my
Yeah,
opinion,
exactly.
it is basically like if you don't make it out of the group, it's sort of saying, "And you shouldn't have been here to begin with." And that seems problematic for me. If we really so you're right. We're gonna make it out of the group for
I think
sure.
so.
Uh,
Yeah, I
where
think so.
where but where do you think we're going from there? Like, do you think we can really make a little run here with
I
this group?
do. Like, provided we're healthy and provided we can play to, some extent what we saw in the first 45 reasonably consistent over a 90-minute game. Yeah, I think we can get to well, it's an extra round now because of the expansion, but to the round of 16. I think so. Yeah, I think that's totally doable. Like Poch semifinal, what he's talking about, I'll be shocked, be thrilled. I don't think so. I would be content with just really good performances, good football, good soccer, round of 16, and you get handed it by just a world class, top 10 team, and everybody understands. but you're still competitive in that game. You don't
In
get beat
like
five
a
two.
quarterfinal is what you're saying. You wanna make a knockout. I'm assuming you want a
Well, the
knockout
knockouts
win.
happen around early now because of extra
D
teams that are involved.
Is
I
that how
I
it
want to
works?
get.
Tell me.
I would love to get to a quarter. That would be amazing. That would be incredible. I don't know if we can, but yeah, win. Don't get grouped. Win a knockout, and then see. If we get beat by top 10, top 8 team, so be it. Put on a
Yeah.
good show. Put on a good showing. Don't squeak out of the group, and don't get embarrassed. And I feel like we all want to win, but we could respect that and hold our heads moderately high. But most importantly, how do you feel about Banner, our new mascot?
Huh? I hadn't seen him. Let me
He was
see.
my
Is that a lion? What is that? Oh, it's like
no,
a
Banner is our
dog?
isn't he our dog? Um this is
This is news to me.
this is from World Cup 94.
Oh,
You know.
hello. He's cute.
But how do you feel about our new Banner mascot?
Well, now I'm gonna have to look. Who has a new mascot? Like the US?
USA.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I'm gonna
For
have to look this
for
up.
this cup. Look up Banner. But
Okay. The first thing that came up was Clutch the Eagle, and I'm like, he's not new. Really? I can't. Oh, whoa.
mm,
Okay. So this dog guy.
yeah,
I mean,
it's fine.
he's fun.
It's fine.
Like, why? Like, did we get any kind of like, did we get some details around this? Like, fill me in. I'm trying to.
I don't know the
This
details
is.
around how that was
Oh wait, here we
selected.
go. Inspired by our country's national anthem. Is this the Banner story?
Well, Banner because Star Spangled Banner, so that's the name of the
I
dog. But why
see.
we went with that
But why
particular
the
animal,
dog?
apart from everybody likes dogs.
Well, I mean, it's maybe we just like went with whoever created Minty for Charlotte FC and we're
Oh
like,
my
"Hey,
god,
can we get you to consult on this dog?"
those Minty man, those eyes, they just follow you. They're
You know what
weird.
though? We've been
They're
saying we
weird.
want we want a dog, we want to see more dog in the stadiums, so there we go.
This team, Atlanta United, needs to get another dog. We need another. Who did we have first? It was Spike, and then who was our second dog? What was the name of our second dog that we had? I forget.
I don't remember cuz
I
Spike was all
forget.
that ever mattered to me. OG
I'm
Spike.
saying dogs bring you success. We were successful when we had a dog. Arsenal has a dog. They've
You're
been
gonna get no
successful.
argument from me. I am a Georgia Bulldog through and
See, this
through,
is what I'm saying.
so,
You got
bring
that dog
on
in
the
you. See, we
dogs.
need a dog. Well, then maybe that bodes well for USA.
I like it. I mean, it can't be worse, right? Like
No, that second half
and
was worse.
and
That's
look, it's not the worst looking mascot I've ever seen, and at least I know what it is, you know? There are mascots where you open it up and the first reaction, especially international mascots, is, "What is it?" Wait, there was one called that, in fact, right? Izzy, isn't that where Izzy came from?
yeah,
Okay. Ta-dun,
from
ta-dun.
Atlanta. What's an Izzy? I don't know.
What is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody does. So, okay, Glenn, out of the lineup that we saw, though,
Mhm.
how close to first choice do you think that is, right? Like, who are you pulling? Who's going to be pulled out and who's going on? And in particular, I'm curious, do you think that we saw are they your pick for number 9 or the up top guys? There's been a lot of different guys that folks like, and we saw at least 4.
Balogun on his day, I suppose. I'm very interested in seeing more Ricardo Pepi. I think we need more Pepi in our steppy. That's just me.
I just don't know how much we're gonna see of the Pepe hype train if we don't see more than 15 minutes of
Yeah,
him. It's not even enough to really get
right.
going. Um,
Um,
though I did really like seeing Ajimong. I personally really like Patrick Ajimong. I think he brings something a little different. I liked him being a target,
yep. He
and
can he can serve he can serve a role. Big
yeah,
target guy, kind of like a Lukaku, you know, that's can do a job, a very specific role. but we've never had a player like that. Really? Well, no, we had. Why am I blanking? Oh my god. Former men's national team player played alongside Michael Bradley. Um, oh my god.
Are you
It'll
talking about
come.
Josie Altidore?
Josie Altidore. He's like a Josie Altidore.
There
Yeah,
you go.
he's like a
Yep.
Josie Altidore, sort of.
There we go. I knew I
Yeah,
could get there. Just
good, you
needed a
got there.
little info.
Thanks for bailing me out. I think you'll see. I think Miles is when healthy is starting, and he's probably pushing out like a McKenzie, probably. Um,
I think
Certainly
it's him
Tyler
and
Adams.
Richards
What's
starting
that?
over. I think it's him and Richards over
Okay.
Ream,
Yeah.
personally.
Chris Rich. Oh, not Ream. I think Ream's in.
You think? I mean, I
Yeah, I
don't
do.
hate it. He's
I thought he was good.
certainly earned.
I thought he was good. Everybody was good in the first half. You know who really surprised me that I didn't think would be as good as he was, and maybe I just need to watch more of him. Maybe I'm being disrespectful here, but even Font Mob, SofaScore, they all rate him in the green despite the result was Malik Tillman.
I liked what I saw out of Tillman too. I thought that
Yeah.
he had a few different plays that led to, some chances. I
Hmm.
thought that he won some balls, right? And yeah, I didn't think he had a bad game at all, and I
No,
thought
not a
that
bad
he
game at all.
and
I
it
just
was
don't
int
I don't know where you slot in Tyler Adams here. I guess Pressman's
that's
going to
the
come out
thing
trying to
is that
cover. So,
exactly.
hmm,
I don't
hmm.
I don't know that we're gonna play exactly this way once you move.
I also want to see more of Sebastian too, though. I want to see more of Berhalter, even though his set pieces weren't good, but he didn't have a ton of time. But Gio's on the outs. He's well on the
Talk about
outs.
a star that's fallen, man.
Was he ever a star? I don't
Well,
know.
here's the thing,
I
like,
don't
I
know.
I think Reina was definitely on the rise and on everybody's radar, but all of that went down before he could actually, I think, live up to
Mm-hmm.
the potential, the
All that
expectations.
drama and all that bullshit.
And I hope that
Yeah.
he can, and I hope he can take some time, like, not being in the spotlight for a while, though, and maybe we can rehabilitate that at some point. It's unfortunate because I
He's had a
hate
rough go.
how often the men's national team ends up burning talent in this kinda way. Like,
Right.
it's one
Well, it hasn't
thing.
gone well for him at club either. I mean, he wasn't doing anything at Dortmund. He gets moved to Borussia Mönchengladbach, and he's not doing a ton there. He's played like 14 matches. He has no goals. It's just his career is sputtering, and that's kind of tragic.
It is, and that's why I think that we we might need to rethink a little bit, like,
Mm.
how we go about, I don't know, like, hyping guys up or bringing guys up
Well, I think the
through the
media has a lot to
team.
do with that,
That's
and
what I'm
fans. Like
that's
for
what
a
I'm
minute,
saying.
Gio was the second coming.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I think that we've seen this story repeatedly, right?
Mm.
Where guy
Yeah,
gets on radar too young. Maybe maybe he's got the wrong people around him. Maybe he's a victim of ego. Maybe he's a
right.
victim of, circumstance like injury, bad luck, whatever it is. It is the exception, not the rule, that a guy does well in a petri dish, right? And
Right.
and so that's what we keep doing. And it's interesting to me the number of times that guys come out of the men's national team, who are the guys that are not the ones that are hyped, right? Because it's often the guys that are coming through with a chip on their shoulder. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show
Right.
you that you shouldn't overlook me, you know, that ultimately pan out. And
And you're
it's
thinking that's going to happen with Gio?
I think it's possible. I
Hmm.
think it comes down to, like, where his head's at.
Hmm.
It may not happen, right? But all I'm saying is that I think he's another example of what happens when under we put a guy on a pedestal before they've done anything. And
Hmm.
candidly, we did the same thing with Ricardo Pepi. I mean, and I could name others.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I'm guilty of that as well. I wasn't so much with Geo, but a lot of the soccer sphere was with, and some with good intention. Even like your Rod Bennett's Men in Blazers of the world was, this guy is the key, the cog that makes, it's going to make everything go. He is our best player, and that turned out to be not the case at all, like at all.
well, and exactly, like, it's interesting, I was just having a conversation about this in, a card collecting group that I admin, where a guy kinda tossed out and he said, "Hey, like, has anybody ever really panned out from an MLS prospecting, like, perspective?" And, of course, they're talking about, like, card investment and, that kinda angle, but normally that is based on the prospecting, right, that we're talking about here, right? Who's the next guy? Who are we hyping up from the U20s or elsewhere? Or who's, the next big thing? And the collecting world is littered, right, with the bodies of all of the men's national team prospects. A large number of them at that number 9 spot, right? Who remembers names, Daryl DK, uh,
Mm.
you know, what's the other guy? Not just Pepe, but,
Oh,
uh,
Sergeant.
uh, Sargent was
He
another
just went
one.
to Toronto. I hope it
Al
works out for him. He's an
Also
odd one.
for, also out of the Dallas Academy with a J. Uh, he was another striker, same thing, Ferreira.
Oh, Jose
Ace, yeah, Ferreira.
Ferrer.
So, you know, we've seen a whole line of them.
Sargent, I don't understand because he's killed it for club. Like, he's done really well at Norwich, and he's just never been able to do it for country, and I don't know why.
He's
I don't know
and
why.
it's Yeah, it's happened multiple years, like, all the time. I hear so much about Josh Sargent, and I have to tell you, like, every time he gets on the field for the men's national team, I think, "Alright, this is the guy everybody's talking about," and it feels like I've seen him touch the ball 3 times, and, it's like he gets on the field and he disappears with the men's national team, and I don't get it. He's got like, the guy runs, he's got good hold up play, he has good positioning, like, he does a lot of good things when I see him on the field, but it just never really turns into anything, it seems like.
Mm,
Um, and you don't know exactly why. It was and that's really one of the things that's plagued us, right? Is that we have to get our goals out of the midfield because we've not had a consistent striker. You have to rely on set
correct.
piece
You're
goals. You have
you're
to see McKinney
yeah,
come in and do that. You have
yeah.
to, and it's frustrating because what we're talking about is all those chances you had in the first half, right? You bury even one of those, it's potentially not against Belgium, they'll still come back probably, but it's
Probably.
potentially a different game. The energy could be
Yeah, if you're up 2-1
very
in
different.
the half, or if we were gone up 2-0, you know. Yeah, agreed. Anything happens, then, the whole games change goal, or goals change games,
Yeah,
and swings the momentum in your favor.
and some of that is the
Mm.
exact same thing that we're frustrated
Oh my
with
god.
in Atlanta,
It's
right?
hard to
Which
see where the
is
men's national team ends and Atlanta United begins. It's
it's
kind of the
true.
same problems that's always been present for the men's national team in one capacity or another. It's been pretty similar issues. We've never had like just a proper nine. Um,
No.
I mean, Dempsey, as Deuce, I suppose. Um,
But even he
Donovan,
didn't play his career in that kinda way, right?
not really. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
I'd
Um,
say Altidore is closer to a true 9 for the men's national team that we had, right?
mm, mm, yeah, frustrating.
So
Because the talent is there. We don't have world class talent. Like, I'm not trying to compare us to a Belgium, and Germany. Mm, I would say Italy, but they're still fighting for their lives. So I don't know. But
I
Spain, Argentina, Brazil, but we have talent. We have individual talent. We just have not been able to put together like a year in, year out competitive team that just gets better and progressively better each year. It feels like we hit the reset button almost each cycle, as opposed to building on what it was. It doesn't really ever feel like we've built and are taking the next step. And that's
as good
frustrating.
as good as we are, the reality is that the top men's talent is still not going to soccer. and I mean that with
Right,
all
in this
respect,
country.
right?
We don't develop
And
talent
because
that
we
way, we have a pay-to-play system, it's
Mhm.
difficult for kids to get involved. Yeah.
Well, and it's not even just that, it's a cultural thing, right? So, like,
Mm.
one of the things is that in a lot of other countries, I mean, kids basically are born with a ball in their foot, and they're running around with
Yeah,
it
if you
outside
go into the birthing
all the
suites,
time.
they have the balls, and when the kid comes out, that yeah, yeah,
Something
pretty
like
much.
that.
Yeah, more or
No,
less.
Belgium's population is something like the size of New York City, okay?
And they all play
So
football.
and they all play football, is all I'm saying, right? And on the street, and they're dribbling the ball down the street, like, every
It's
day, like,
different.
every single one of them.
When it's so deeply ingrained in your people, in your culture, like hockey for Canada.
Mhm,
You identify with it. I would say that soccer has come a long way in this country, and I'm really happy for that.
mhm,
And it's continuing to grow, and it's been really cool to see and to be a part of in a small way. But it is not the first thing you think of when you hear America, USA in terms of sports. You think of NFL and baseball, which I love as well. And go Braves, 2-1, won the series this weekend. That was great. Um,
and I
it's
think in
not
a lot of
soccer.
ways as a footballing nation, right, we are
Mm,
still toddlers, right? Like,
for sure. For sure we
maybe
are.
maybe at best our preteen, but I think toddler is about it, right? We're
Yeah, we're still
starting to show our
packing.
personality, we're
Yeah,
starting to kinda be a little fun to watch, but
yeah.
also fucking irritating, right? I'd say we're, like, straight on three-nagers, right? Like, 3 isn't that the new thing for three-nage
Jeez.
yeah. So
That's not the worst analogy. Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, we're
I
still
do.
figuring out who we are. And I think when you're still figuring out who you are, that also plays into talent development, right? What kinds of strikers are we trying to create? What kinds of midfielders? What kinds of defenders? Like, what is
It's
that
frustrating we
prototype for
haven't
the US?
figured that part out of it. I get it that
Mm,
culture, like that takes time, like decades and decades and decades. But the fact that we haven't kind of like really established a true, I feel, identity of this is US men's soccer in the way that the women have and have gone from strength to strength with little stumbles along the way. But you see a progression and a consistency with them and miss me with the, well, it's not as competitive on the women's side. Bullshit. It's very
it's
competitive and it's only getting better. I mean, for club and country. I mean, my God, for the debut, the match debut for who's the new NWSL team in Denver? Denver Ascent? No, Denver Summit, I
mhm,
think. Um, they did like 60,000 plus
mhm.
their home match this weekend in the NWSL. So the women are very competitive and they've just been able to do more consistently and
I
seem
think
to know who they are more than the men do.
I wouldn't say that the women's game is any less competitive. I certainly think it's come a long way in recent years in terms of the investment that you see in other countries kind of catching up to what the US is. What I will say, though, is in fairness,
Yeah,
what the US had as an advantage on the women's side for a very long time, though I think the playing field has certainly leveled itself out now, was that investment, right? And for the early years of the women's national team, I say this as a huge fan, we out physicaled most of the world. And that's basically what we
mm-hmm,
did. As women
mm-hmm.
soccer players,
In those early days, that's how we won. Yeah, you're right.
we were more physical, we would just dominate in
We
that
were better
way.
funded.
And right.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was interesting to watch with the women was that as the rest of the world started to catch up and we were no longer able to just win from a physicality standpoint,
There was an
right?
adjustment,
There was an adjustment
but
and
they
we got knocked
adjusted.
off our pedestal just a little bit
But
for
they
a minute.
adjusted, and
But
the
we've
men.
adjusted because we went and got the right coach in Emma Hayes that I think brought an identity and also
Mm,
and this I think is really what makes her so special is she was utterly fearless in making the decisions that she needed to make to
true.
remake the team in the way that she saw fit. And that's difficult to do when you're talking about transitioning from legendary players, right? To something new and bringing up a new crop. And what I've loved about what she's done is that the women's team is now 3 layers deep. I mean, they're 3 deep at every position, I think,
Mm,
on the field with Emma Hayes, where you could make a legitimate argument
mm,
about who is it that you put, where.
mm,
But again, I think that there is a difference, right? Not the top, there's still definitely lots of top female athletes that are going into the WNBA or going into, now the volleyball as well. But for a long time, soccer has been a top investment sport, right?
mm,
And I think for the men, we are going to remain toddlers until we get to a point where we can start to say, this is a prototypical US men's soccer player. I think we're starting to see the edges of it. Like, I actually think Atlanta United is a really good measuring stick in some ways for how the men's national team is going to come out. Like the academy, if you look at the MLS academies, I think, and I'm just going to use Atlanta United because I know their academy better than some others. Think about the kinds of center backs that we're developing, right? Think about Miles Robinson and the fact that we have made carbon copy Miles Robinson and George Campbell and carbon copy Miles Robinson and a couple others, right?
mm.
I think that that could be the
Okay.
start of here is
Okay.
a prototypical men's national team. This is
Mm,
what we're looking for out of this position, right?
hmm.
And so I think you have to start thinking about, okay, what does that look like on the rest of the field and develop that out. And I think that it's interesting because I think our back line has come along from a national team perspective faster than the offense. And that makes a lot of sense. I think in soccer, defense is often developed, you know, ahead of offense, right? And so it's I think that if we can get to a place where as a national team, we have an identity from a backline perspective and we have an identity from a striker perspective. I think the other place where the men's national team has an identity, and I'm glad to see it being carried on, is the goalkeeper, candidly. I think the one position that has always had, for the
I
most
mean, that's
part,
kind of hard to. I don't know if you have an identity. You just
but
have a
think about
good.
it,
You just
like,
have a good
where
goalkeeper.
has like
I don't
but
know.
what position for the men's national team have we consistently had somebody that at least carried
Yeah, I
some
mean, we
swagger,
Tim
carried
Howard,
some identity,
Secretary of
carried
Defense.
some.
You know, yep, it's true. You're not wrong, but I don't know if that's like identity or it's just had some pretty good goalkeepers. That's one position though.
I I think that the combination of those guys, right, for a little
Well,
while was kinda it. Like, I think it started in
even
the
with
back.
Goose, yeah,
Right, with Goose, with,
we have a
Ramondo.
deep pool. Shoot, man, even Ethan Horvath was good. He had his moment at the Gold Cup, and you're right. We have had pretty good depth, pretty really talented keepers. I don't know why that is, but it's true. It's
And
true.
yeah. So I'm just saying, like, there are certain positions, but it makes sense to me when you think about the United
Hmm.
States, you think about the athlete pool, you think about a lot of things.
Hmm.
It makes sense to me that we would develop a goalkeeper and a goalkeeping pool before other things because
Because
we
we know
do.
we're gonna get shot on. Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Oh
And and
Lord.
and
No,
and we're good at sports that use our hands, okay? All right? So, logically, this is where we start, Glenn, okay?
and I think this is where we finish too. I think we've talked through it pretty well. No, I'm absolutely picking up on what you're putting down. I think it's a really good analogy what you're doing to compare like the from Atlanta United's academy and what like you could say is a prototypical Atlanta United player that's been developed and through our system. A Miles Robinson clone, whether that's George Campbell or Noah Cobb or whoever. We would like to see that with the men's national team of like this is the system, this is the funnel, this is the type of player you're going to be, and this is how you're going to be in your respective position, whatever that position is. And you're right, we have seen it with goalkeeper. I do think it's a little bit easier to do in that regard, but for whatever reason, we've had excellent. I would say world class keepers at that
Mhm,
position. I mean, for what they've done for the country and for their clubs. I mean, all of our goalkeepers for this country have played for big clubs.
mhm,
Tim Howard with Everton, Matt
in the
Turner
EPL.
didn't
Yeah,
didn't really work. Goose over in Aston Villa. Um, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Never really thought about it in that way. That's a really good point.
The other thing is that don't
Mm.
sleep on the fact that the training center is now in Georgia, in
True.
Fayetteville, okay? So,
And it's world
historically,
class. If you haven't been
it
there or even driven by it to see it, it's it's incredible. I mean, it's one of the nicest facilities. They have everything. They have everything a player staff could want or need. Like no expense was spared on this
here's what
facility.
I'm curious to see though. Like this
Yeah.
is why I think it could be potentially a big deal, not just for us because we're in Atlanta and Georgia and et cetera. So obviously I'm
Hmm.
personally invested. But in all seriousness, I think moving the national team headquarters from the Midwest into the South, where historically the deepest talent in the country has been developed. You want to look at football
Okay.
talent, you want to look at basketball talent, you want to look at
I see where you're
professional
going.
talent. It's in the Southeast.
Yeah.
It shifted when a lot of other things shifted, right, from the Midwest south.
Atlanta United had a lot to do with that.
Yes. And so, in my
US soccer
opinion,
isn't here without Atlanta United.
if you wanna start getting those kids early that are
Mm.
going to end up shunting off into football or into
Mm.
basketball or into baseball,
Mhm.
then you've
Mhm.
gotta go to where they are and
And
where the
they are on one of the 100 mini pitches that we're building
right. So
around
there's
Georgia.
more
Mm.
we're creating
Mm.
accessibility, we're creating the next
We
generation
need
of
that.
soccer players, right?
It's why we're
And
so
we're
far
doing
behind.
it
We didn't have that until recently. We didn't, whereas other countries
exactly.
have had it since day one.
And it's not just Georgia, right? Like, you wanna
Correct.
look at deep talent-rich states. I hate God help me, Florida,
It's
Texas,
okay.
Georgia,
Sure.
South,
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely. Hey, listen, there are other areas. Dallas has a great academy. You know, they
100%.
have
And
great
Dempsey
talent
came
there.
out of Texas, and there's a
Hmm.
reason.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely. It is the South though, in general. Southern states seem to be talent rich.
And
And we're only just now seeing in this past most recent decade real investment, real strides, like real energy and effort put towards that because I guess it's finally dawned on US soccer. Like you have to.
well, because of
You
col
can't
right.
just
So,
get
historically, they
lucky.
didn't wanna invest in soccer in the South because of
Mm.
high school football, college
Yeah,
football,
SEC. Yeah.
right? Well,
Yeah.
not even just the SEC, Glenn. I mean, down to the high school football level. Go to South Georgia.
Oh,
High school
I'm using
football is like
SEC as
oh,
a
okay,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
all
He's
football, Friday
older.
Night
Yeah,
Lights, like
got
all
it.
of it,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's massive in the South. It can't be understated, like how big football is at every level and every grade. I mean, you've 92.9, for God's sake, has a Friday night show covering high school football games, and people go and
yeah,
people watch high school football because that is where your next star NFL player is at. And we need to
somewhere.
treat soccer in the same way. Our next star US men's and women's team is somewhere kicking a ball around Georgia,
Yeah,
Florida, Texas. That is the truth. It is
yeah,
out there and you have to identify it, you have to nurture it and support it. And then we can start to make real headway towards
yeah,
becoming a consistently competitive country year in and year out with the eventual goal of getting to a final, man, at least a semi, right?
yeah,
Like we're just not there yet. We're just not
yeah.
there yet. We have longer to go than I think I thought we did, or maybe anybody else did as well. I thought we would be further along. I thought when Pulisic came on the scene 10 years ago that okay, this is we're transitioning now from Bradley, from Altidore, from Dempsey, from Howard, from all of them, right? And this is that next generation. This is the golden age. We are really progressing and taking that next step. And it didn't happen like that. And hopefully this is a bit of a wake up call. I still want to do good, but I hope this really opens eyes to like, you really have to nurture this. You really have to build it. You really have to stay consistent with it. And it has to start at an early age. And you have to follow these kids and support them all the way through their early academic years, through junior high, through high school, college, and keep nurturing that and keep helping these kids grow because otherwise it's just going to be what we're seeing every 4 years where it just feels like, well, we're back to square one.
Yeah.
It sucks.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to be optimistic, and I think
Sure.
for me, I think it's a big move to move the national team down here, the headquarters.
Yeah,
I'm excited
that's
about
the
it,
direction.
and
Yes,
I'm
that's an
looking forward to
excellent step in
seeing,
that
and
direction. You know,
like you
they
said,
identified it and said,
yeah,
"You know what? This is where the talent is. This is where we need to be. We're gonna be there." And Arthur Blank agreed, and he said, "Cool, here's 250 million. Go do your thing."
yeah.
You know. All right, y'all. Thanks very much for listening. I don't think we'll have one for Portugal unless we do something incredible and we feel like coming on and talking about something happy for a change. But with if we don't do that, then we will be back on Sunday because Atlanta plays on Saturday. And fancy that,
404 day!
404 day, and I'm gonna be there. My
Yay,
first club match of the
Glenn!
season. Hawks are not playing, thankfully.
I'm
You know,
glad that you're finally making it out.
yeah,
Come on down to lot 17.
I will be
Jennifer
there.
and
I will be
all the
there.
rest
Who
of
do we
us
have
have
on Saturday? I'm
many
already
things.
blanking. It's not Cincinnati.
Chicago,
No,
right?
it's not Chicago.
No?
No, 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 no. It's or is it Chicago? I don't know. Let me look.
I really thought it was
You might be right. I don't think so though.
no,
It
it's
is
Columbus. That's right, it's
Columbus.
Columbus.
Hey,
Columbus. That's right, we're
I'll
playing
take
Charlie Brown.
I've never been more optimistic about taking on Columbus
Oh, Lord,
than I
first
am right
word.
now. Like near bottom of the table Columbus.
Shh!
I know.
Glenn.
I'm just saying, like, this is kind of what I thought would happen when Nancy left.
Well,
I
and
don't.
Nagby, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
they're a
Fair. Also,
totally
that you lost
different
two
team.
massive pillars of your success. I think they will get right eventually. Um, I
We'll
don't
get to
think
see
they'll get right by
Jamal, right?
Saturday. What's that?
We'll get to see Jamal come back.
Oh no, Jamal! Don't you dare!
I
Don't you dare, Jamal! Don't you dare! Okay, so whoever's out there, it'll probably be Hoyos. Someone needs to talk to him, dude. Put your water bottle like really far away. Don't put it near the net. Like he will do some shit. Like just don't do that. Just wouldn't that be something? I swear, if Jamal scores on Hoyos in some sort of just horrendous sitter, just an embarrassing, just an
don't
embarrassing goal like that kind of way. He You gotta bench him. Like you gotta bench him. You have to. But anyhow, I digress. We'll talk all about that
it's
after the match on Sunday. It'll be
it's
great.
not gonna happen. The chicken wings are gonna power us through, Glenn, all
Oh,
right?
that's
We are
right.
not
We
losing on
will have
lemon
wings.
pepper wet day, all
Are you
right? It's just
all
not
drums?
happening.
Flats? All
All
drums?
flats, baby.
All right,
Jen will fight me. Don't start that
we're
fight,
about to have
man.
a fight. We're gonna stop right now and we're gonna go fight this out. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back in a few days. Flats, really? Come
Yes.
on.
Respect the flat, Glenn. Respect
I will
the
not. It's
flat.
drums all day.